Hello, my name is Val Felipe, and today I'll be teaching you how to simplify exponential expressions. To begin, exponential expressions are just a way to write powers in a short form. So for example, you may see a problem that looks like this: 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is equal to 16. A way to simplify and write this as an exponential expression, all we would have to do is use this base 2 and just to the fourth power, which implies that the 2 is being multiplied by to itself 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and which is equal to 16. So today we'll just be going over different types of questions in this form and how we can further simplify them. Our first question is x to the third power times x to the negative eighth power. So whenever you are given a problem with common bases, in this case they are x and x, all we would have to do is add these two powers straight across. So if they have common bases, the base will remain the same, which is x. And then we would add across, so 3 plus negative 8 gives us negative 5. So although this answer is correct, we can further simplify it. And we can go ahead, x to the negative fifth power is equivalent to 1 over x to the fifth power. The next question is x to the fourth power parentheses to the negative third power. So whenever you see a problem with parentheses, you would keep the same base, whether it's x, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the problem may be. You would go ahead and use that as the same base, and then multiply the two powers 4 and negative 3, which gives us a negative 12. And much like the problem above, x to the negative fifth power, we can go ahead and rewrite this as a fraction. So x to the negative 12th power is equivalent to 1 over x to the 12th power. Our last and final question is x to the 7th power over x to the 12th power. So much like the first problem, question 3 contains common bases x and x. So we can go ahead and rewrite with common base x. And instead of adding, you'd go ahead and subtract the two exponents because it is a question with like an over or division sign. Whereas the first question, you're multiplying the two, these two pieces. So 7 minus 12 gives us a negative 5. And then whenever we're at the stage where our base contains a negative exponent, it's pretty much a key indicator letting us know that, hey, you can go ahead and simplify this even more into a fraction. So this would equal 1 over x to the fifth power. So knowing these three questions, they're pretty much like the key ideas when we are simplifying exponential expressions. So I'll be going over 3 additional questions, and while solving, we'll apply these same ideas into these next questions. The next questions will contain different bases and additional variables, and this is just to help better our understanding of simplifying exponential expressions with more challenging problems. So our first problem is 4x to the third power, y to the second power times 7x to the negative fourth power, and y over 3, or y to the third power, sorry. So this question shows that we are multiplying these two parts together. So since we have the same base x and x, we can go ahead and multiply the 7 and the 4 and the 7. So this gives us 28x. And then since we are multiplying these two bases, we can go ahead and, like question 1 up here, we can go ahead and add the two exponents. So 3 plus negative 4 gives us negative 1. And then y to the second power times y to the third power gives us y to the fifth power, because we went ahead and added these two exponents. So now that we're at the stage where we have a negative exponent, like up here, we would go ahead and rewrite this as a fraction. So we would keep the 28 up here, keep the y to the fifth power, and go ahead and drop the x right here. And we don't have to put the 1 because x to the first power is x. So that is our answer. 28 y to the fifth power over x. The next problem is negative 2x to the third power y, and parentheses to the 0th power. So anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. What about negative 3x to the 0 power right here? So pretty much we can go ahead and rewrite this with a negative 3. And this part right here is the same as x to the 0 power. And since the x is being, since the 0 is the exponent representing the x value, the x base, we can go ahead and rewrite the x to the 0 power as 1, and then drop down to negative 3, which gives us negative 3 times 1, which gives us negative 3. The last and final question for this lesson is 24x to the 7th power, y to the 3rd power over 8x to the 4th power, and y to the negative 12th power. So we would go ahead and divide 24 to 8, which gives us 3. And much like the third question up here, this contains common bases, so we'll keep the x. And instead of adding the exponents, we're going to go ahead and subtract. So 7 minus 4 is 3. And then we have the same bases, y and y. So we go ahead and keep the y. And then 3 minus 12. So 3 minus 12 is the same as 3 plus 12. And 3 plus 12 is 15, which is our answer. 3x to the 3rd power, and then y to the 15th power. So this is pretty much the whole concept of simplifying exponential expressions. And just to follow up, these 3 key parts right here are crucial whenever you are solving or simplifying exponential expressions. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed and hope you learned something.